Hey guys, Jordan here, Boo Nast on Board Game Geek with Finer Things Review. And today I want to talk to you about a game that I had the chance to play at Gen Con 2014 this year. I got to demo that and see it. I was really excited about this game, kind of had it on my radar for a while. And I played it and I knew that it was a game that I was definitely going to want to get and the game that I was going to want to review. And that is Black Fleet. It's a game by Space Cowboys, distributed here in the US by Asmodee Games. It plays 3 to 4 players. It says about an hour to play on the box. I'd say that's pretty typical. That's about right on. So let me show you the components and what you get in the box and how it plays, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, here we have a game of Black Fleet set up for 3 players. First thing you're going to do to determine the first player is you're each going to draw one of these cards here. And they're going to show you what color you are. And if you get the black one, then you're the first player. So beginning with the first player and then going clockwise, the first player is going to set up their merchant ship in one of the ports. They just choose one of these ports here and put their ship into one of the 3 docking spaces on that port and load the 3 cargo into their ship there, like that. And then the next player goes, we have them set up over here, and the next player set up right over here. Let's get another piece of cargo in there. And also you'll put 2 Navy ships on the board. There's little markers for them here and here. There's a yellow and a purple one. And then in addition to that, each player is also going to get a pirate ship, which doesn't start on the board but comes in the game later. After that, each player is going to get a hand of 2 movement cards and then 1 of these special action cards right here. So the idea in Black Fleet is you're going to be sailing your merchant ships around, collecting cargo and selling it at different ports for money. You're going to have pirate ships sailing around trying to attack other people's merchant ships. And you're going to have these Navy ships, which you can command one of, to try to sink other people's pirate ships. And then after the end of your turn there, and you draw your hand back up, you're going to use your money that you earn in the game to buy one of these cards. And we'll come back to that later, but just know for now that this is how we win the game here, is by purchasing all of these cards. But more on that later. So first let's look at what we do in a turn. So on your turn, like I said, you're going to have a hand here of 2 cards and 2 movement cards and 1 special action card. So what you're going to do is you're going to play one of these 2 cards, do the actions listed on it, then draw your hand back up, and then purchase a card at the end of your turn if available. So to play one of these cards, you simply just put it into the discard and you do the actions available on. Now all of them have listed on them 3 numbers in your 3 ships here. So it'll be a purple or a yellow, and that tells you which merchant ship I have access to there for the turn, and then my pirate ship, and then my merchant ship, which Navy ship, sorry. And then the numbers here next to it indicate how many spaces they can move for that turn. So let's look at that. Merchant ships, when they move, they just move from one space to the next, like so. And what they're trying to do is, when they eventually sail down and land in another port, as their action, they can sell the 3 goods they have there. So we'll knock those out. And this little scale here on the port will tell you, 1, if it accepts that color, so these are blue, so great, it takes blue. And I get 3 doubloons per cube that I sell. So here I would get 9 money. Take that, and then I would immediately put in the cargo of the port that you're at. So that's the merchant ship and its action. So they're just going to be sailing back and forth between the ports selling their goods. Then you have your pirate ship. Your pirate ship doesn't start the game on the board, but once you play the card for it, then you can take your pirate ship here, and they're going to start in one of the 3 spaces marked in brown on the board, and they start there, and then they can do their movement. Now when a pirate ship sails next to an opponent's merchant ship and it's empty, one action it can take is to steal a good and put it on its ship. And you get 2 doubloons for that, 2 money. And then on any subsequent turn, the other action it can take is if it's next to one of these spaces here, that has a shovel and a number next to it, it can, as an action, bury that cargo and collect, in this case, I'd collect 6 money. But note that the ships can only do 1 action per turn, so I can't steal a good and bury it in the same turn. And then finally, my Navy ships here, whichever one I have access to, depending on the card, whether it's purple or yellow, I can move one of the Navy ships. Now, if a Navy ship moves next to a pirate ship, whether it has cargo or not, it's going to sink that pirate ship, removing it from the board, and you collect 2 money for sinking that pirate. Note that all of these actions and all these ships, they can move, then do an action, and then continue moving. So if my merchant here had enough, say 4 movement hours here, I can move up, sell my goods, reload, and then continue moving. Or my pirate ship could steal and sail on, or what have you. Also during my turn, I'm going to have up to 3 of these special cards in my hand, and these just let me do extra stuff. Like here I can move my pirate ship 2 extra spaces, or I can move each one of my ships 1 extra space. Or if my pirate ship doesn't move more than 1 space, I can gain 3 doubloons. Stuff like that. You can play as many of those cards as you want in the turn. And then after you're done moving all your ships, you don't have to move all of them. You don't have to move them. They're full space. They're full movement allowance. Then once you do that, you're just going to announce that you're done with that. You're going to redraw your hand back up to, so you always have 2 of these. And then at the bottom of these cards, if they say, they're going to allow you to draw some more of those special cards. Now here, so in this case, I get to draw 2 more of those special cards. Or in this one here, I get to draw 1. Here I don't draw any. And some of them make you discard one of your special cards in order to play this card. So this, I would have to have the special card and discard it first before I started doing all of this. So that's all the actions that I can take with my ships on the board. And then after that, and I've redrawn my hand back up, then I'm collecting all this money. What do I do with it? Well, that's where these cards down here come into play. Now each player is going to have a 5, 8, 11, 14, and a 10 card. And these numbers represent the cost of these cards. And the whole point of the game here is when you have enough money, after you're done with this part of your turn, the last thing you can do on your turn is you can purchase 1 and only 1 of these cards each round. And when you do, you simply pay the money for how much it costs, so this one costs 5, and then I flip this one over. And now, this card is going to grant me a special ability. So in this case, when my pirate enters the board, it can move up to 4 extra spaces. And so on and so forth. And now, everyone's cards are different. They're all going to be similar, like the 5s all relate to the pirate ship. You know, the 8s all relate to the merchant ships and the navy ships and so on. But each one of these is different. So even though we all have the same price cards, all of them are going to unlock different abilities for us. So that gives each character a little bit of uniqueness into what they can do and the combos that they can pull off. Now these cards I can buy in any order I want, with the exception of this last card, the 10. So these are all just going to unlock. When I buy them, I simply flip them over and now I have that ability. I must buy all 4 of these cards first in any order before I can buy this 10. And this is how I win the game right here. So with the 10, once these are all purchased, flip these over here. Now when I get to 10, I can flip this over. Now this card is the same for all players in the game, and this triggers the end game. So when this card is flipped over, we're going to finish the round so that everyone's had an equal amount of turns, and then if you are the only player with this card bought and flipped over, you win the game. If multiple people have bought this card in the same round, then it's whoever has the most money left. Also, one other thing I wanted to mention too, if you want a longer game, instead of doing the 10 here, you can switch it so that the last card you have to buy is a 20 instead. I think it's a really nice, just elegant, clean way to make it from a shorter game to a longer game. So that's that, and as a final, what I would like to say here, I want to point out the components in this game. You know, you've got all your goods here, which are these, the standard painted cubes. that we all come to know and love. I really love these ships. Okay, here's your merchant ship that everyone gets. I just love that the cubes fit right in there like that. It's so cool. It's just so nice to, you know, be able to interact with the components of the game like that. And also the coins here, your golds are 5s and your silvers are 1s, and these are real metal coins that you get. It's not standard. It's not some extra stuff I brought in. You can see the board itself, the colors are very vibrant, it really pops. It's really just a nice board to look at. And also the cards here are nice stock, they're thick. The artwork I like, it's a little cartoony, but that's okay because this game has such a light feel to it, and I think it's appropriate for it. I'd also just like to mention the rule book here. You can see the rule book is very clear. Lots of examples, great explanation of what's an island, what's a continent, what's a port, all the terminology there. It's not very long, like I said, it's very succinct, to the point, a lot of bulleted things here, and just a lot of excellent examples and random questions that you may have about the end of the game. And what's nice here on the back, then you have a little listed bullet points of just common overlooked rules to remember. So that is Black Fleet. This is a game that's been getting a lot of play in my group lately. I really love games like this that cram all the players into little spots. You know, it gets very cutthroat and very just clustered in there, and everyone's vying to try to get through. And can I move you somehow? Can I manipulate this ship around? Can I play a card that screws you over so that I can get by? Your ships are going to get sunk constantly in this game. Don't worry about it. They're just going to respawn and come back out. Your ships are going to get sunk. You're going to sink other people's ships. Just get used to it. Also, I will say, like, this game is inherently, it's just a racing game. It's really about, we're doing all this stuff on the board, all the ships and everything, and that's great and fun. But what you really want to do, you don't lose focus that you want to collect as much money as you can each turn and buy those cards, because that's what it's really all about, is buying those 4 cards so that you can get to the end game card. You know, again, the components with Space Cowboys, it's just great. The cards are thick, the artwork is nice, it's got a nice finish on it, you get the real metal coins in there, you get the ships, and you actually get to load the little cubes onto it. I love that. It really, really adds to the feel of the game. And the colors on the board, they're really bright, vibrant, and pop. Because it plays so easily and because it plays so quickly in an hour or under, I think this is a game that will work with a lot of groups, non-gamers, or maybe a lighter game while you're waiting for someone else for the more hardcore types. But either way, I hope that this review helps you decide if this is the game for you or not.